Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. Listen, unfortunately I haven't been able to do too much videos in the past couple of weeks. I've just been very busy with work, and unfortunately that's limited how much time I can either play this game or commentate this game. What I'm going to do today is something a little bit different. What I've often had people come up to me and I've had people say, I'm kind of interested in playing this game, but I just find it to be really complicated. I don't really know what I'm doing. Can you, do you have like a video that explains how to play this game? Do you have something that you can look at and just try to, get me into this game? So I'm going to use this replay for that purpose. This is a duo queue ranked game. I'm playing as Karthus here alongside my friend Nox, who's playing as Skarner. This is a ranked game at about 1450 elo, not especially high. But I'm going to assume in this video that you've never played League of Legends before, that you're not familiar with the game, that you don't know what's going on, and so I'll try to use this as an introduction for people who aren't familiar with this game, maybe are interested in learning how, and just try to talk through some of the basics using this replay as a guide and use it as an introduction, because the only introductory video I have is the first one that I ever made, and that one is wildly out of date at this point. So let's go over some of the basics of League of Legends as a game. This is in essence a tower defense game. Your goal is to kill the enemy's base, which is called the Nexus in League of Legends. Each team has a base. The team on the blue side has a base, and the team on the purple side or the red side also has a base. The goal is to kill the enemy team's base. When you do that, the game is over, and you win the game by killing the enemy team's base. Now, in order to defend the base, there are things known as towers. There are quite a few towers. There are actually 11 towers on the map. And the towers are very, very strong early on in the game. In order to defeat the enemy team's base, you have to take down most of these towers, not necessarily all of them, but you have to take down the towers. And right at the start of the game, if you try to walk up and attack the tower will kill you almost immediately. So what that means is you need to get stronger over the course of the game. Each team has five different players on it. They're known as champions in this game. There are champions with lots and lots of different types of abilities. Some of them are really strong at attacking. Some of them are really strong at using physical attacks. Some of them are really strong at using spells, basically that is using magic damage. You have other champions that are sort of real tanky guys designed to soak up damage. If you've played, online games, you probably are familiar with some of the archetypes. You have your bruisers, you have your spellcasters, you have your physical attackers, you have assassin type champs. Lots and lots of different types. There are over 100 different champions in this game, and they keep adding more keep adding more champions all the time. So that's the basic the basic setup. You have a team of 5 players. The other team has a team of 5 players. Your goal is to take down the towers and destroy the enemy team's base. Their goal is to do the same thing back to you. So there's a lot of teamwork element in this game as well. There's room for individual plays that people can make individually, and there's also room for teamwork. And in fact, at some of the higher levels of play, you can see some really intricate teamwork. Now, one of the best ways to push into the enemy team's base is just to kill the enemy team. If you can kill everybody on the enemy team, they'll have a period where before they can respawn. There's a death timer before they can respawn, and while they're dead, you basically have free run to try to push their towers. So that's one way you can win the game. You can kill the enemy team and then push their base. It's not the only way to win though. There are other ways that you can push lanes without necessarily getting kills. And now right here we have a fight up in top lane. So watch, we have a friend Nox playing his Skarner is able to slip in there. He's able to pick off the first kill. He is able to get extra gold for this. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but he was able to get the kill on the enemy team's player, Nocturne. Note that there's a death timer now here. Now they're going back in to try to see if they can pick off a second kill here, and this champion Poppy goes down to 28 HP, but 9 HP there, but no, is not quite going to be able to get that kill, unfortunately. So yes, you have a lot of close plays here. Note that the tower shoots back if you try to attack people on the other team right underneath it. The tower will shoot your minions if you are not attacking an enemy champion, but if you attack an enemy champion right next to the tower, it will turn and shoot at you, and that's the basic idea. Your base periodically, I believe it's about every 30 seconds, will push out waves of minions. Yep, every 30 seconds, I believe. See, push out these waves of minions. These minions are AI controlled. You don't control the minions in any way. They run out and they sort of mindlessly push forward in the lanes and attack the towers. You use your minions to push towers while the tower is shooting at your minions. That allows you to get in hits on the tower. This tower is down to about half health right now, so there's been some damage placed on this tower. That's sort of the first and primary goal of the minions, is you use them to push the towers. Without them, it's very difficult to kill the towers. Now, secondary function of the minions, the other thing that goes along with them, is you kill the minions in order to pick up gold and experience. As I said, when you start out the game, you're very weak. your champions are not strong enough to kill the towers. Over time, your champions will get extra gold from killing minions. You get extra experience from killing them as well, and so you'll become stronger as the game goes on. Here I am in middle lane. I am trying to, I want to try to get the kill on this minion so I can get the extra gold from it, and right there, I'm going to kill the minion and get gold. This is a crucially important point in League of Legends. If you get the last hit on a minion, you get extra gold. So watch, every time a minion dies, there'll be a little gold indicator. We just need to see one die here. This one should be getting targeted. It dies and see plus 23 gold. So there's a constant count of gold that goes up over time in the game. Earning gold is extremely important. You use gold to turn your gold into items. This down here on the replay mode shows you what items everybody has. You can normally see this in-game by hitting the tab key on your keyboard. You can see what items everyone has. So the more minions you kill, the more gold that you get, and you turn that gold into items, which of course makes you stronger. There is a very big difference in this game between champions who have items and champions who don't have items. Champions that have items are infinitely stronger than champions that don't have items. You scale exponentially off of items in this game. So one of the key things you want to do in the early game is you want to get as many minion kills as possible because you get gold for killing them, and then that allows you to buy more items. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. Down here on the scoreboard, this keeps track of how many minion kills you have, and again, you can see this by hitting tab in the game. Here in the replay client, you can see. So for instance, in the middle lane here, where I'm playing, I am basically dead even with this player I'm up against, who's playing as Morgana, as this person's champion. In top lane, you can see we're slightly ahead in terms of minion kills, and elsewhere we are behind in minion kills in this bottom lane because their player in bottom lane has 31 to our 23, and their jungler also has a little bit more minion kills. Now, there also are other things to consider. You do get gold for killing enemy champions too. So for instance, up in top lane, our player in top lane, Kennen, just got a champion kill, has 1 kill here, so that's going to give him extra gold as well. You also do get experience in this game as well. Note that there's a little number next to each person's name. For instance, I am level 6. That means that well, obviously I've leveled up 6 times, but level 6 is a particularly important level up because it gives you access to a special skill known as your ultimate, which I'll talk more about in a minute. So you can see everybody's levels. They're also up here on the scoreboard indicator, 4, 6, 4, 4, 4. There's a level cap of 18 in League of Legends, but it usually takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get there, so the games go on for a while before you will hit that level cap. Every time that you level up, you'll be able to put another point in an ability. All champions have 4 abilities. In fact, if I have myself highlighted right now, down here on the interface, you can see this. There's a passive that everyone has. Every champion has a passive. This doesn't count towards your abilities. Everyone just has an innate passive. My innate passive as Karthus is that I can cast spells for 7 seconds after I die. This is one of the more unique passives in the game. Then every champion has 3 normal abilities, bound to keys Q, W, and E. This is the default key binding. You can change them if you want. So you have 3 default abilities. I'm playing as a spellcaster, Karthus, so my skills deal magic damage. One of mine, my basic skill is called Lay Waste. This is on Q. This is on a very short cooldown. It's on a 1-second cooldown. I put my mouse cursor on the ground, and a little explosion appears after, a half-second delay, and anyone who's standing next to it takes extra damage. So that's an example of sort of one such ability. And of course, there's many, many different abilities. Far too many to try to go through in a short video like this. But many different abilities that all do different things. You can put a point in any one of these initial 3 skills at the start of the game. Now, each champion also has a special skill called their ultimate, which is bound to key R. Mine is I can cast a spell that hits everyone on the map. So there we go. I just got that kill in bottom lane. I will rewind the footage so you can watch this again. Note that there's a fight going on down here in bottom lane, in this 2v2 lane. 2v2 lane right here, and it looks like their champion here, this guy is playing as Ezreal, it looks like he's going to get away, but nope. Down comes the laser cannon from the sky, and he gets finished off, and that's going to be a kill for me. This is one reason why I enjoy playing this champion, Karthus. Now, anytime you use a skill, there is a cooldown associated with using it. Note that now I have to wait, 150 seconds before I cast that spell again. Ultimates generally do the most damage and have the longest cooldowns. There are some exceptions to this, but for the most part, that's the case. Your ultimate is like your special ability, and so now I have to wait a long, long time before I can use this again. I also have to, it also does cost mana. If you note that I have here on my champion, I have a green bar, that's how much health I have. This probably makes sense to most people, but I'll cover it anyway. I have a green health bar, that's how much life I have, and then I have a blue bar here that indicates how much mana I have. When I run out of mana, I can't cast spells. Both of them regenerate slowly over time. They will both increase slowly over time. Now, there are other champions. Some champions don't use mana. For example, this champion known as Kennen uses something else called energy, which is a little bit different. This is a resource that you don't increase over time. For instance, you get more mana with each level up. You don't get more energy for each level up, but it regenerates much faster than mana. So Kennen is an example of a champion that uses energy instead of mana to cast spells. There are some champions who don't use any kind of resource system. Some of them are only cooldown based. That is, there's no mana at all. It's just how long it takes for the spell to cool down before you can use it again. So some champions are like that, and there are some other resource systems too. Anyway, though, you get the point. You want to kill the minions so you can level up fast. The more levels you have, the stronger you get. See, I just got a level up there to level 9. You get extra stats for every level up. You get extra health, extra mana, you get a little bit of extra damage, and it allows you to put more points in skills. As level 9, I have 9 skill points available. I put 5 points in my Q, 1 point in my W, 2 points in my E, and 1 point in my ultimate. You can only put 5 points in each of your normal skills. They max out at 5 points in the skill. So I have maxed out my Q first. That's because it's my most reliable source of damage. I've maxed this out first. You can only put points in your ultimate every couple of levels. You can only skill your ultimate at level 6. You can only then skill it again at level 11, and you can only skill it the final time at level 16. So basically you want to skill your ultimate anytime it's available. There's a pretty good fight going on down here in bottom lane. Let's see if our Sivir player here is going to pick up a kill. Yes, does get a kill on their Taric. Right now, they're chasing after this. Again, the tower shifts to try to focus our champions, and right here I'm going to use my ultimate to pick up a kill on that Nocturne player under the tower. So we ended up going, what, 3 for 1 in that particular fight. We killed 3 members of their team, and they only killed 1 member of our team. So that was a successful fight on our part right there. And again, that's one of the advantages of this particular champion I'm using, who's known as Karthus. He has a global presence. There are a couple champions who have abilities that can be used anywhere on the map. And again, mine is on that ultimate. I can hit anyone on the map, or any champion on the map, after standing still and channeling for a couple seconds. So again, that's one of the reasons why this is a pretty good champion. Pretty good, I'd say. One of the more popular champions. But of course, like I said, there are well over 100 champs. Okay, other things I haven't talked about yet. So I've talked about the innate abilities. Each champion has 4 innate abilities and a passive. One other thing that each champion has is they have the ability to bring 2 extra skills with them to the battle, and these are known as summoner spells, and these are listed up here. These are spells that have no cost to use. They're purely on a cooldown, and they do different things. The most popular spell is known as Summoner Flash, which allows you to teleport a short distance to wherever you point your mouse cursor. You may note that nearly everyone in this game is running Flash as a summoner. In fact, only one person is not using Flash. That is our Poppy player who's running Ghost. Flash is popular because it's an escape skill. It allows you to get out of situations that would otherwise kill you. So you can choose any 2 of these summoners. There are about 15 different summoners you can pick. Right there's another ultimate being used. This is the ultimate of Nocturne. He causes the whole map to go dark, and then he can jump onto an enemy champion. So they were able to use that successfully to get a kill in bottom lane. Now, as I was saying, each champion can bring 2 summoner spells. You can see after you use them, they don't cost anything to use, but there is a cooldown associated with them, and some of them have longer cooldowns than others. For instance, this skill, Ignite, deals extra true damage to an enemy, useful for finishing someone off if they're about to die. This has a 180-second cooldown. The Flash has the longest cooldown. Flash has, well, it's not saying how long the cooldown is. Maybe it'll say here. Okay, it's not saying how long the Flash cooldown is. That's funny. I wonder why it doesn't say. Anyway, Flash's cooldown is about 4 minutes. It's usually around 240 seconds, roughly around that. So Flash is the most popular summoner spell. It also has a long cooldown, as an example of it. But you can take different choices, and different roles generally like to take different summoner skills. So that's one of the ideas here. Now, another thing about setting up the game is you might have noticed that on the map there are also these 3 lanes. Minions come out in lanes. For instance, the minions, every time they come out of the Nexus, they'll run towards the 3 lanes, top lane, middle lane, and bottom lane. They'll run towards the lanes. But there's also other parts of the map as well. In fact, there are these other parts of the map. I'll turn off the Fog of War. You have these other parts of the map where there's these, sort of these monsters in the jungle. You can also kill these monsters for golden experience. They just stay there in their little camps, and you can kill them for extra golden experience. One thing that you will usually see teams doing is they will pick one particular champion and assign them to what's called the jungle role. And their goal is to run around the different lanes, and well, to run around the map and to try to kill these neutral camps because they're free golden experience. And if you don't have someone clearing these camps, that golden experience is just kind of going to waste. So that's kind of the logic there. You know, you have 3 lanes, so you want to make sure there's 1 person in each lane. That allows you to get golden experience in each lane. And then you want to have someone in the jungle, clearing the jungle. Now, the point still remains. Like right now, I'm killing a monster called the Ancient Golem, and that gives me a little buff here called the Crest of the Ancient Golem, or more commonly called the blue buff. This gives me extra mana regen, and it also gives me cooldown reduction. So this is very useful on spellcasters because it allows me to keep casting my spells without running out of mana. So you will see spellcasters usually wanting to take that whenever it respawns. And of course, these camps have different respawn timers. This little camp here, this is a minor camp. This is called the Wolf Camp. This one respawns every minute. The big camps, the Golem Camp, and there's also another one called the Lizard Camp, which is unfortunately not on the map right now, but it spawns down here. This is on a 5-minute respawn, and the blue Golem Camp is also on a 5-minute respawn timer. So anyway, the idea is you want to have somebody getting the golden experience in each lane. You also want to have someone getting the golden experience in the jungle. So that covers 4 of your 5 champions. Now, that still leaves another champ. You know, you still have 5 champions, but there's only 4 sources of income. There's a top lane, there's a middle lane, there's a bottom lane, and there's a jungle. But that still leaves an extra source, you know, it still leaves an extra champ. You still have 5 champs and only 4 sources of income. So what do you do? Well, what people have done in League of Legends is create a champion known as the support champion. And the idea here is you don't last hit minions, you don't try to kill the minions yourself, you leave that to another person on your team. For instance, you might notice there's, in terms of the minion kills down here, our one player only has 5 minion kills, and this player on their team only has 7 minion kills. Again, the idea is to not kill the minions. It's sort of counterintuitive, but you let your other player last hit all the minions. That's because gold is more useful when it's accumulated on sort of one person's hands than trying to split it amongst 2 people's hands. So the idea is you have the other person you're paired with takes all the gold, takes all the gold in the lane, and then you build items that give you passive gold generation. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but we have a pretty big fight here. There was a nice ult by our Nunu player down there. Got off a lot of damage. I'm going to use my own ultimate to channel into this fight. Again, the global presence of my champion Karthus, that's going to allow us to go 2 for none in that particular lane. And now they're going to look to take this tower. Again, note that the tower is shooting at the minions. The tower is killing the minions, but there's time right here to go ahead and kill that tower. And our Nunu player really wanted this kill, but not going to be able to get it. Meanwhile, what we're going to do now is, because we have just killed their bottom lane, we killed their Taric and Ezreal players, we killed their bottom lane, we are going to go after an objective on the map, another neutral camp. This is a camp known as the Dragon. It spawns fairly early at the game, and whoever kills this gets a big global benefit for their team. This is a very difficult monster to kill, but when you do kill it, it gives everybody on your team 190 gold. So it gives your team global gold. So the Dragon is worth a lot, and a lot of the team strategies revolve around trying to get the Dragon. There's another camp on the map, another neutral camp over here, another sort of big camp. This is known as Baron Nashor. This is the strongest neutral monster on the map. It is very difficult to kill in the early game. Killing this camp gives the entire team a lot of gold. Everybody gets 300 gold. It's either 300 or 250. It's something like that. But your whole team gets a ton of gold, and you also get a buff to everyone on your team that gives you extra damage and extra health and mana regeneration. So this is a really strong camp, and a lot of the team strategies revolve around trying to take this, but you can't really go after it and try to kill it until late in the game. So what you'll see is teams trying to protect the Baron and make sure the other team doesn't get it. And there's all sorts of interesting, team plays that get set up around this. Now, who gets the Baron buff if there's 2 teams fighting over it? Well, whoever gets the last hit on it takes it. So there's actually all kinds of fun Baron steals that people will talk about. The ability to get in there. If you can get in there and get the last hit on it right before it dies, you can steal it for your team. And the Dragon is the same thing. Whoever gets the last hit is the one who is able to take it. Right now, there's another fight down here in bottom lane. They're trying to catch out this Morgana player. She is able to get off her ultimate. Then a stun comes out, and our Sivir player is going to blow up. Varus is using his own ultimate, which grabs somebody, impales them, and drags them back. I'm trying to come down here from lane, but their team just has more people here, and they're looking to dive this tower right now. The whole notion of diving a tower is you run in and you just start tanking the tower shots, and the goal is to get a kill on someone. Our Nunu player is doing a pretty good job of dodging this. Note how the tower keeps shooting at their team over and over again. And unfortunately, I do not think that I have my ultimate. Oh, I do have my ultimate up right now. They should have told me to kill Tarek. Somebody should have told me that. That's a mistake. That could have been a free kill right there. I didn't even realize that while playing. I didn't realize he was that low. Somebody should have told me to go in there and kill him, because by now Tarek has been able to heal himself. He has a heal as one of his skills, and he's going to be able to run out of there. So yeah, I'm going to use my ult, but it's going to be too late now. Tarek, note that he goes down to 77 hit points. So if I had used that earlier, that would have been a kill. Someone should have told me to use... Varus should have told me to use my ult earlier, or somebody on the team could. Of course, you can type to people on your team and give them different messages. So anyway, that's sort of the basics of the gameplay here. As I was saying before, the 5 different champions, one of the champions on your team is in the intention of supporting the rest of the team, not trying to take last hits, because you want to funnel those last hits to another player on your team. Now, what about champion roles? Well, again, you don't want 5 champions that all do the same thing. You want to try to have a balance of champions that do different things. The most common arrangement is to put some kind of spellcaster in your middle lane. That's because spellcasters do really well in the middle game, sort of in the middle portion of the game where we are right now, the period around roughly 15 to 25 minutes or so. That's when spellcasters are at their strongest. The idea is they go to the middle lane, they farm up, get strong, and then they can run either to the bottom lane or they can run to the top lane, and they can try to make plays. So you typically see a spellcaster of some kind in the middle lane. The top lane typically is some kind of tankier champion. The top lane tends to be the most isolated, so you'll have a more tanky champion. We don't really have a good example of that in this game. We have Poppy in top lane for the other team, who is an assassin, and we have Kennen on our team, who is another spellcaster. Another strategy that people will sometimes run is they just run 2 spellcasters. I'll get back to this in a minute. Watch, we're actually able to catch out Tarek right here. He's going to flash, but I'm going to hit him with a lay waste. I'm able to use a summoner skill, Exhaust. Or wait, no, I didn't use Exhaust there, excuse me. I was able to use a summoner skill to slow him, and we're able to pick off that kill and able to score that one. Anyway, though, usually you'll see sort of tanky bruiser champions in top lane because it tends to be the most isolated lane. We just don't have an example of that in this game, unfortunately. Bottom lane is a pairing of an attack damage champion, what's called an attack damage champ. The AD, or attack damage champ, builds physical damage items. The idea is you want to deal damage with your attacks, not your skills. I mean, skills do damage too, but the idea is you use your physical attack. So right here, our player Sivir is one example of that. 190 physical attack, builds items like Infinity Edge and Bloodthirster. And on their team, their player Ezreal is another example of this. He's built an item called Trinity Force, which is also an item that an attack damage champ would build. They were just able to pick off a kill right there. And right there you see Flash used twice. Hold on, I'll rewind so you can see that again. Right here, our Kennen player goes over aggressive. This is that play again. He goes in, he uses his ultimate, but he goes in way too far forward and he gets blown up immediately. Now Ezreal flashes after me, and I'm going to counter flash away from him, because if I'd gotten slowed by his Trinity Force on a Phage proc, I would have been killed there. So anyway, just he flashed aggressively, I flashed defensively. That's one reason why almost everybody takes Flash as a summoner skill in this game. So, again, people usually build spellcasters in mid, usually have some kind of tanky champion in top. Oftentimes, the jungler is also kind of a tanky champ. Their jungler, Nocturne, is kind of an example of that. Nocturne has built mostly defensive items, like this Wriggle's Lantern. He's building a Phage out of this Ruby Crystal and Longsword. So usually some kind of tankier champion in the jungle as well. And then your support is designed to make your attack damage player, your AD, become stronger in the late game. ADs become the strongest champs in the late game. So you want to protect them early and allow them to do their damage later on. Now their team is tower diving once again. They're able to pick off a kill on our Sivir player. We are going to try to counter this fight right there. It's a very nice Nunu ult channeled under the tower. Varus Nox is going to get bursted down. I am going to use my ultimate to try to salvage something out of this fight, but not quite. Not quite. Quite a few people are low. There we go. We get one kill out of this. Kennen is able to flash and get that kill. But see, they're still pushing the tower. They're using the minions, that the tower shoots the minions first, unless someone on their team hits one of our champions. Now, meanwhile, I'm coming down here. I was in top lane. I'm on my way back. Kennen's still chasing after Nocturne, but I don't think he's going to get that. And now I am just running after Tarek, and I'm going to pick off that kill. So I actually have 4 kills and no deaths. As far as the scoring system goes, you might see these numbers down here. The first number is kills. The second number is deaths, and the third number is assists. An assist is where you helped get a kill even if you didn't get the actual last blow yourself. Again, this other number here, I mentioned before, minion kills. This is how many minion kills we all have. Note that I have the most minion kills. My champion Karthus is very good at farming minions, so that's what I'm looking to do. I want to farm up, I want to become very strong, and then I want to look to be in a position where I'll be able to take charge of my team and be able to carry them to a victory, as we like to say. Dragon has respawned. Dragon respawns after 6 minutes. Their team is all back at base. They're buying. They had to heal after that last push. So we are going to take the Dragon, and that gives us more global gold. One thing that you can't see when you're actually playing, but you do see in the replay mode, is up here it shows how much global gold each team has. Again, you don't see this while playing, but this tells you how much global gold each team has. We are about 5,000 global gold ahead, and we ran into their jungle and we stole their blue buff, so it was given to me. Both jungles are mirrored, of course. It is exactly the same setup on both sides of the map. But we went in and we took that blue buff and gave it to me because as a spellcaster, I want to be able to keep casting spells and not run out of mana. That's the idea there again. Greatly increased mana and energy reduction. Greatly increased mana regen. Excuse me. So anyway, that's the idea. One thing I will click here is if you click here in spectator mode, I'm spectating this game after it happened. You can see how much gold each champion has. Right now I have the most in the game at 9,400. Next closest is, let's see, we have quite a few right around 7,000. 2 people on their team, and then the silver player on our team. So I'm actually pretty far ahead in terms of gold, which indicates that my champion is rather strong right now. Now, other things that I'll mention, things that I haven't covered yet, is one thing is vision. On the minimap here, you can see anything that anyone sees because this is the spectator mode. Our team during the game can only see this. This is our vision. This is the enemy team's vision. So you might notice that when you're actually playing, you can't see as much as in spectator mode. Right there, we're going to look to initiate a fight. We've kind of caught out there Morgana, but she's going to get off a nice ult. Now we're going to be back to team fighting again. Anyway, as Karthus, as a spellcaster, note that Morgana is very low, so here comes my ultimate. Remember, I can cast spells after I die, and right there, I actually pick off a double kill after I was dead. Again, that's one of the advantages of Karthus. So that fight, which went really badly for us, ends up becoming okay, in part because I'm able to get off 2 kills after I die, in part because Kennen comes in and cleans up a kill on their Nocturne player. So again, this is sort of the strength of Karthus. But the point I was trying to get back to was, you only have so much vision while you're playing. You know, you can only see what your minions can see, what your towers can see, or what one of your champions can see. However, you can place things on the map that give you extra vision, and these are known as wards. And buying wards are extremely important in League of Legends just because they give you extra vision. So what you want to do is you want to put wards in key places on the map to give you extra vision, because like right now, note that our Kennen is playing blind. He has no idea if there's someone on the enemy team coming to kill him or not. You know, you can't see that. But if he had a ward right here, he'd be able to see that he'd be able to see anyone coming towards him. Sort of the idea. So you want to ward the map in crucial spots. Right by Baron is a very important spot. For instance, the enemy team has no one by Baron, but they can see it because they've placed a ward here. Sort of a common spot. Over by Dragon is also another common spot for a ward. Anyway, there was a 1v1 kill there in mid. Hold on. How did that happen? So this is our Sivir player was over aggressive in this game. Our Sivir player was going way too far forward. Sivir comes forward, and then right here just gets caught by their Ezreal player and gets bursted down and dies. And that was a pretty silly play. Note that our Sivir player has 2 kills, 4 deaths, 6 assists. So our Sivir, that's not especially good. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's not especially good. And Ezreal also has gotten more minion kills, has 30 more minion kills, and also has more champion kills too. So that's a sign that Sivir wasn't having the greatest game. And so I was going to need to try to pick up our Sivir player, try to help out. I will caution people that if you play this game online, you will get some people going crazy, some people raging, some people getting angry. You will see that. Right here, we're going to initiate another team fight, though. We're able to catch their Nocturne player out of position. We're continuing to chase on this fight in mid. My ultimate is off cooldown, so I can ult into this fight, but nobody's quite low to get picked off yet. We were able to split up their team, get them low, and what we're going to do now is back off and look to try to take advantage of this situation. We have killed their enemy team's jungler, so we may be able to get something out of this, but it looks like we took too much damage in that fight. Going to go back and heal. I mentioned the neutral camps in the jungle. One thing I do as Karthus is I keep clearing these camps over and over again. The camps respawn quickly, all except the Golem buff and the Lizard buff. They respawn very quickly, so you might as well just keep taking the camps over and over again and look to get the gold for having them. So we actually have a pretty good game here. My team is ahead. We're ahead by, We're ahead by about 6,000 gold right now. We also have taken 3 towers, and they haven't taken any. That's important. It gives us a lot of map control. Not having a tower here, not having a tower here really opens up their jungle. We can invade their team's jungle much more effectively by taking these down. So controlling towers is also an important part of this game. Obviously, you can't win the game unless you get to their base and take down their towers. Right now, everybody's grouped up mid, so it looks like we're going to have a big team fight here again. And unfortunately, our Kennen player got caught, so I'm going to need to try and salvage the situation once again. Nunu is getting off a really nice channel ultimate right here. Their Morgana uses her Zanya's Hourglass. I realize if you're new, you're not going to understand this, but I'm going to die, going to use my ultimate, and let's see how many it's going to pick off. Going to get 1 kill right there. So let's see, we're able to go 2 for 3. Now Sivir wants to chase this down. She's going to flash after Nocturne. Nocturne's going to get away though. So that fight didn't go especially well for us. We had 3 deaths against 2 kills. We lost that one. Varus is going to have to flash out. Oh no, that's not good. Sivir's getting caught by a Morgana Dark Binding, and that's going to be another kill. So they went 4 for 2 in that particular exchange, and they should be able to take this middle tower. Note that the tower is low. It only has 400 health. They want to push the minions to this tower so they can kill it without having to tank the tower. So they're going to do exactly that, and it looks like they should be able to take this tower. Nocturne is going to kill that. So that was a successfully won fight for them, and now they've closed that gold gap a little bit. They're now only down about roughly 4,000 gold. They were down about 6,000 before, so you can see how that was a good fight for them. It all started with our Kennen getting caught a little bit out of position. He got binded in place by Morgana. Their Morgana player has an ability called Dark Binding. That is a skill shot, but if it hits someone, they get stuck in place. They can't move for 3 seconds. So it's a pretty strong ability, but it is a skill shot. It is something that you have to aim. Some skills in the game you just point and click and they automatically hit the target. Other skills are skill shots that have to be aimed. And of course, different champs have different abilities. For instance, Taric here, he has a stun that is not a skill shot. You just click on an enemy and a little bolt of energy comes out and they get stunned for 1.5 seconds. Whereas other skills, like I said, are skill shots. Now right here, we noticed that their Ezreal player was in bottom lane. And so what we're going to look to do is we're going to look to force Baron. And again, I mentioned Baron is the strongest neutral minion on the map. This is a very difficult monster to kill. So we have our whole team here. We want to kill this. We want to make sure we secure this. And we're going to steal that Baron. Ezreal is going to fire his ultimate, but it's going to get there too late. And so we were able to do that because their AD, their Ezreal player, was not there, was in bottom lane. Now we're going to look to force the fight. Varus is going to use his Skarner ult to grab the Morgana, but she gets off a really nice Zanya's Hourglass. I'm going to use my own counter Zanya's Hourglass right here. And we're both going to go invincible for a few seconds. Now I'm going to use my ultimate, try to pick off a kill here. It's not quite going to be enough there, but Kennen is still alive. Kennen has gotten 2 kills. He really wants this kill on Ezreal. Ezreal's so low. He's down to 40 HP. There is the triple kill. Going to get that kill on Nocturne. And then Ezreal is going to make a mistake. He's going to turn the wrong way. And oh no, that's not where you want to go, Ezreal. And that's a quadra kill for Kennen. So we win the fight. 5-3 in here. So 2 members of our team are still alive. And while the 2 members of our team are still alive, everyone on their team is dead. They have no one to defend, so that means we can push. And now that they're dead, we want to get map advantage out of getting those kills. So we want to push the tower. Note, once again, the tower shoots the minions, and that allows our champions time to sit here and beat on the tower and get in some damage. So they'd like to keep pushing, but note the enemy team is starting to revive. See the death timers ticking down. Again, while you're playing, you can see this if you hit tab. Don't play the game in spectator mode. So they're getting in some pretty good damage. They get that tower down to below half health, and now they need to back out. They need to retreat in order to avoid getting caught by the enemy team. Sivir is actually going to use her ultimate to run away, which is a little bit funny. But anyway, that was a good fight for us. We took Baron. Baron gives us gold. It also gives us a global buff. And now they're going to grab Dragon, which is respawned on the way out. That's going to give us more gold right up there. It's worth about 1,000 global gold. It's worth 950 gold for the team. So that was a great push for us, and now we're up to about an 8,000 gold lead. We went from 4,000 to 8,000, so that's a really big deal. Now, note the little purple thingies flying around Sivir and Kennen's heads. That is the Baron buff. And here, I'll highlight it for you. It's called Exalted with Baron Nashor. Again, they get extra health and mana regen, so you get health back faster, you get mana back faster. You also get increased attack damage and increased ability power. So your attacks deal more damage, and your spells, your abilities also deal more damage. I should mention the stat known as ability power in this game. Now, physical damage dealers use attack damage as their main stat. This is it right here. See how Sivir has 272? That's how much damage she deals when she physically attacks. This is her attack speed. Makes sense. The more attack speed you have, the faster you can attack. The more attack damage you have, the more damage you deal when you physically attack. Now, as a spellcaster, I build another stat. This is called ability power, and it's how much damage your abilities do. By building AP, or ability power, your skills deal more damage. So, for instance, I have this item called Rabadon's Death Cap, causes my skills to deal more damage. Right here, it shows how much damage I'm getting. I'm getting 550 damage from the base skill, and then plus 373 from my ability power. So that's sort of the basic items that they build. Attack damage and ability power for physical damage dealers and spellcasters. Now we have another team fight going on. Their team is running out of their base to fight us, which is kind of a mistake. They probably should have stayed under their tower. Right here, we're getting in a lot of damage, and now their team's running away, but oh, that Karthus, oh, triple kill. So it takes down Nocturne and Ezreal right there, and then their team sending out the GG messages indicating that they think the game is over at this point, and we indeed have snowballed out to a commanding lead at this game. What we're going to do here is we're going to try to see if we can end the game here. We killed their tower, their base tower here. We are now killing something called an inhibitor. When an inhibitor dies, your Nexus starts producing super-powered monsters that they call super creeps or super minions. So right here, we're trying to kill the towers protecting their Nexus. If we can kill both towers, we can attack the Nexus, but we're going to have to back out because their team is starting to revive. Meanwhile, this is a super minion right here. These are minions that are extremely strong. They have tons of hit points. They have deal lots and lots of damage. So they will push the lanes for you. Wow, what's wrong with the animation there? That thing looks really weird. They will push the lanes for you, and once the inhibitors are down, it's much easier to push lanes. But here in the end, it didn't matter because their team decided to surrender anyway. We had those super minions pushing our lane in middle because we'd taken the inhib. The easiest way to win this game is to, if you can't kill their base itself, if you can take down the 3 inhibitors, there's one for each lane. If you can take down all 3 inhibitors, the super minions will push so hard that they'll effectively destroy the base anyway. But that's the game. They decided to surrender. They didn't want to play it out to its conclusion, and they probably would have lost this game anyway. So down here again, you can see how everybody's score finished up. Kills, deaths, assists. I had a pretty strong game here, 12-3-8. Varus was supporting our team as a jungler. He went 3-3-9, 3 kills, 3 deaths, assists, and then you can see on the other side. You can also check out how much gold everybody finished with. I ended up with the most gold in this game. Big surprise, I'm going to show a game for the introductory video here in which I did reasonably well. So maybe that's predictable. So anyway, this is more or less what a game of League of Legends looks like. League of Legends is a lot of fun because it's a game that allows for a lot of big plays. There's often a lot of exciting action happening. Team fights can get turned around quickly. If somebody makes a mistake, you'll often see the fights swinging back and forth. Things like Baron and Dragon allow for games to be flipped around. It is a game that snowballs, but it's also a game where if you make mistakes, you can turn the game around. And there's a lot of room for strategy and depth in terms of how you put your team together, which champions you pick, what strategy you try to employ. Should you try to push down towers quickly? Should you try to farm and wait for the late game? How much focus do you put on securing Dragon and Baron? How much emphasis do you put on controlling the enemy team's jungle, and so on? So there's a lot of room for strategy here, and some of the top teams do some really interesting things. Anyway, I hope that this was interesting for people who are not familiar with League, might be interested in this game. I'll keep this video around for a long time just because I think it's a good demonstration of what the gameplay in this game looks like. So anyway, hope this was interesting to some people. In any case, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.